time for Shady Business.
Shady Business.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Featuring Ryan from SPEX.
That's me.
Starring special guest from the Saskatchewan Roughriders office, Russell Kovshoff, Director, Game Entertainment and Events.
He's the man.
Maybe.
In a world.
For one man, one option. Ryan, with these amazing glasses of glory, can see invisible naked people.
It's marvelous. That's my world. Russ.
Hello.
Kovshoff. Yeah, Gesundheit. Nice to meet you.
At least you're not the Blue Jay spelling it with K-O-C. It's not Cockshoff, it's Kovshoff.
Cheers and welcome to
you.
Shady Business, my man. I am so excited. Welcome, everyone. We've got a treat today. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Russ is got stories galore of all sorts of types and things. And first of all, who the hell are you?
So I'm 28 years old. I'm from Toronto, Ontario, born and raised. I apologize to everybody from Saskatchewan that has had a bad experience with somebody from Toronto who thinks they own the world. I promise you, I'm not that guy. Forgive me. I have worked in sports entertainment since I was 12 years old, actually, and now I find myself here as a director of game entertainment events for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And,
Cool.
It's been great. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank
Cool. That's we're gonna get into the all the backstory and stuff in a second here, but of course this is called Shady Business, so we are an eyewear based podcast, so we should probably get right to the shady business, shady part. And
Shady.
You are wearing
Shady Business.
that's the shadiest shady business I've ever heard. And you are wearing quite a killer pair of shades right now.
I love these.
Yeah?
yeah. Like, they feel good. And like when you were bringing me through the store, I gotta tell you, like I'm that kind of guy who likes not wearing the same thing as everybody else. Like you see everybody with the Ray-Bans, and I say this wholeheartedly. Mm-hmm. And you walk into like a sunglass hut, which I always go to because I always want to go, have a nice pair of fresh sunglasses.
Right.
And it's always the same. Like it's always the same brands, or it doesn't really fit me, or the experience isn't that great, or it's the same stuff. And it's hard to find, I think, like a really nice, unique pair of glasses.
Right.
And even from the experience you just like gave me, I was honestly like, I was kind of shook that there's these designs, even locally here in Regina. You really wouldn't think,
Yeah. I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's, we try to give you a different experience and different, outlook on things. And
I feel like a little like, I feel like
yeah, you feeling it?
I'm feeling it.
Now, you said before, they feel really good.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no secret that SPEX by Ryan, we'll just say our unofficial motto is, if it feels good, do it.
Got it.
So, I mean, that's what we go by. And welcome to that motto.
Thank you.
If we can, So those are called Cazal. And probably have a nice shot up close of them right now. And look at this guy. He is money. This is big TO money in Saskatchewan right now, folks.
Whoa.
Yeah. He commands respect. He commands attention. Or something like that.
I sometimes when you want to feel good when you get dressed or when you show up to work or you manage people, right? So, or you just want to feel like when you're with your friends or just in any social setting that you can just be confident. And I feel like whether you're wearing a nice pair of pants, shirt, the sunglasses are a statement in a way. And I believe that. I like wearing sunglasses that really, I don't know, I think showcase me, I guess.
What's really fascinating that literally we just learned moments ago, folks, is Russell is an actor on the side as well. He's just learned how to do all these voices or something. And, when you put the shades on, do you not feel that you just become a character of sorts of something bigger or larger than life?
Which is funny because I portrayed a mascot for the Toronto Rock in the NLL called Iggy, and he wore a pair of sunglasses. And when you're behind a mascot mask, it really It's funny when you're talking about the sunglasses. I do feel like that it's a kind of added level of confidence, especially when when you feel a certain way about what you're wearing.
Right.
So you can walk in a room and just have that, your chest a little bit bigger, and it's not like the douchebag, like, hey, like, look at me, man. Yeah. Like, no, it's just more just a natural confidence.
Right.
Especially if you're like a good person generally. So.
Yeah, man.
Or you try
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah. So it just all ties in together, man. That's
Yeah.
so cool. So, what were your perceptions of eyewear before we showed you around?
A lot
specs?
of it seems like cookie cutter, like you walk into I'm sorry to throw Sunglass Hut under the bus, but a Sunglass Hut, or like, you go to a mall and you walk into like a bay or whatever, and you're kind of looking for something different. I always like being unique to an extent. Like if I see a watch that I really like, that's different, that people don't have,
Right.
that I feel kind of represents me and my style, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, that's cool. I find it really difficult when you're shopping for sunglasses or even glasses in general. I don't wear glasses, to find something that really like sticks out to you, especially with like the way I think my face is like weird shaped. I don't know.
Actually, no. It's quite easy
No?
to find a lot of styles that look really good on you, and you're not used to seeing yourself in glasses. Things took a little time to become comfortable with that image in the mirror that you're seeing that was just not what you're used to.
Yeah.
We're going to get into this as well a little bit later, but you were put a little bit in, out of your comfort zone. You're used to certain things, and there was some ideas presented to you to challenge you.
Right.
And so the sunglasses, again, to me, are a slam dunk. I saw it right away. You actually got onto those ones right away too. And it's a beautiful thing when when I see it, but also the client sees it as well, and that you were open to that. Now here was the other frame we saw that really looked great on you.
I'm about to feel naked taking this
exactly. Don't look, everyone.
naked.
Yeah, look away. Look away.
I think I have nice eyes. I don't know.
So that was Cazal, and now this one is one of our ultra luxury collections called Chrome Hearts, and this one also looked super sharp and natural on you, as though you've worn it forever, and unique, different, but not overbearing, but also badass.
Yeah, like these are. I think I was mentioning to you when we picked, when you showed me these, and I just put them on, and I just felt I felt sophisticated. I somebody who doesn't need a prescription, luckily. Sorry to
hey.
it's just I guess I got the 20/20 luck, but regardless, like I never really have had to have glasses, and for me, you put these on, and you're like, wow, these actually feel different in a more in a interesting way. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like it elevates like my fashion sense in a way. I don't know if that makes any.
Well, you put a watch on, it's an accessory.
Yeah.
You don't need it, but it's nice to have. And the same thing for you in this case, where you put on this accessory on your face and it just changes things that much. It's that detail, it's that extra. And I'm very proud of that.
I
one
like
too.
this frame here too. Like it's just unique. You don't see that. Usually it's like a flat frame, but they sit so well. I mean, I think even you were commenting how they sit lower.
Right.
And with my nose, which is super flat, and it's
well, you've got a little bit of a wider bridge, which a lot of guys have. They have a wider bridge and a lower brow. So whenever they try glasses on, they're going to look kind of like this, where the brows are inside the frame and it just looks so squished up high. And so what we're always looking for is how we can find the bridge fit where everything can drop low, sit at the brow, and just look natural. And you look damn smart, man. Like,
thank you.
Everyone get out of his way. He's coming through.
Hey, C's will get you. No, I was kidding. C's get you crease. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Okay, so that's really cool. And again, why I really wanted to talk to you today and have you on come on board this Shady Business.
Shady business.
That's right.
Every single time.
Okay.
Every time we talk about
Shady business.
that'll be that'll be the voice I do. Movie narrator voice.
Movie trailer coming soon. We're not having a movie. We'll just do a trailer. How does that sound? Hey, Scott, can we do that? He says we can do it.
Every
Good.
time. Scotty, you're the man, Scotty.
Scotty's the man. He's behind the scenes.
Make me look good, Scotty.
He's making us all look good and sound great. You even smell good. I don't know, man. Like,
thank you.
just so our viewers and listeners can.
Diesel.
Scott, not so sure. It's been a long day, Scott.
Oh no.
So
are you a Gillette kind of deodorant guy, Scott, or like not like the stick, like the liquid? Lush. Are you the Lush?
Oh yes, he's got a connection with Lush, so he's,
That made my nose tingle. I had to itch my nose.
perhaps a little homeopathic. Right.
It smells fresh. He's
Delightful.
Yep.
So, again, why I really wanted to talk to you. You have a million stories, you know, and I'm every time we get together, I'm just like, you know,
I don't get in
I'm just
trouble. No,
listening.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, and there's stuff that we cannot definitely repeat. But but overall, you from what? Okay, we're gonna get to why you came here, but
Okay.
you were in essence, I understand, headhunted by the Saskatchewan Roughriders, poached. They poached you from the Toronto Raptors to head up. What would you call your title again?
It's game entertainment events, or in the industry, game presentations. So like production of the games and our events.
So when anybody goes to a Saskatchewan Roughrider game, what do they notice that you've done when they go to a game?
So there's a lot of pieces that go into what we do. On any given game day, we have 2 events happening at the same time. One is a game day, and next is first is our party in the park.
Right.
So it's creating that pregame tailgate experience for fans, for families, where they can come together, have a couple drinks. The kids can play a bunch of different sports. We have a bunch of stuff for drills for them. We have our cheerleaders teaching dances, so young kids, boys and girls, can come learn how to dance and drum with our drum line, and see our new hip hop group from this past year, break it down, bust a move, and then just engage with our community before a game and get people excited before the game. And it's kind of like a gathering place where everybody can come together. So that's the first element of a game day.
Cool.
Then as soon as you walk into the doors of Mosaic Stadium, from the music to what's on the Maxtron, the SaskTel Maxtron, to what we're doing on the field, all those pieces and elements fall under my responsibility.
Cool.
So on a given game day, I have 150 folks who do report to me. We have lots of great team leads who take care of that. We also have folks who don't fall under me. We have an amazing volunteer team, an amazing volunteer leadership from within the club. Rob Harrison's our volunteer coordinator. These are people who volunteer their time on our rider squad, and they make game days happen. The ushers, those folks. And believe it or not, if you look at Toronto, the Raptors, those folks are getting these are people who are in paid positions, and here people are so passionate about the riders that they come and spend time and to feel attached to the club like that is fantastic.
Cool.
So pretty much all the funny videos you've seen on a game day. So I know jamming with the riders was really big this year. That's a big piece we wanted to bring.
Yes.
We brought a lot of new change to Rough Rider games. I think when you come to a market like Regina, naturally, this is a place this is heritage. The riders are heritage. So anything you do where you are changing something or elevating can provide a little bit of hesitation from a fan base. But the one thing we wanted to do was integrate new ideas and let the fans decide for themselves, hey, does that resonate with me? Is that funny?
Right.
And once we had provide them some examples, i.e. Jamming with the riders, when we started with our first one, which was These Eyes, which, believe it or not, I know you had Charleston here recently.
Yes, yeah.
He opened that for us.
The second best defensive end in the CFL.
Nah, man, what you talking about? No. I love Charleston, and he literally got in front of a camera and sang, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Saskatchewan Roughriders," and he goes, "These eyes," and that's the moment I realized when we had the guys buying into lip singing that, and that we could do player features to a whole nother level in Saskatchewan and allow our fans to see our players from outside their helmets and showcasing their personalities, which is huge for us.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the pieces we brought. We brought a new hip hop team in. I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent here. No,
it's good.
But everything is very strategic when you come to a rider game. We're trying to build out. We changed a lot last year. Right. We learned a lot. We learned that we need to be we need to continue to develop our game day. We need to be more structured from our pregame. We need to offer our fans, our fans who love football. I love football. I played football in university for 5 years. I love the stats. We need more stats. We want to give those focus fans who come for a lot of football that attention to detail with stats.
Those
and what's going
oddball stats that on every Tuesday since 1902, so and so has the most yardage on 3 o'clock or whatever, right?
But that is a great example of how engaged Rough Rider fans are. Yeah. And so that's something we're working on now, and we're going to do a lot more of that. We're building that out further.
Cool.
And then the next piece is taking some successes from the year and elevating and polishing. So we brought in a Rider Flow dance crew, which is 40 kids from Saskatoon who are super talented hip hop dancers. We changed our cheerleading team to more fusion. So we have a splash of stunting, a world champion baton twirler on our team.
Yes, she was amazing.
Jasmine, fantastic. A lot of the girls, new leadership for that team as well.
Right.
A drum line, which we're
Couple new cameramen on the sidelines too. I heard
you guys and these guys and Scott over there.
Yeah.
And you guys have been fantastic shooting our girls.
Oh,
like
stop it.
Like no, but like even just the camera work and the shots with limited resources. So I appreciate it. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
But we're doing more of that, and we're also trying to provide our fans with more content. We have an amazing Rider Media team. They do all these social pushes and a bunch of different content they produce with the whole team, football ops, and they're getting that Hard Knocks quality content. And then on my end, we're doing the fan forward, lots of funny stuff that is for a game day, which you can only see when you come to a Rider game. So I think we're on a good path, and you're going to see a lot more elevation at a Rider game upcoming. But there's a lot of pieces that I'm involved with, from video production to the control room. I'm sitting up in the control room show calling. This year we had a lot of close games.
Right.
So we keep our fourth quarter and our set. Let me just talk about strategy.
Sure.
So you're a football fan, right?
Absolutely.
So when you come to a Rider game, what's the one thing you love most?
The atmosphere, the crowd interaction. I'm an emotional person.
Yeah.
So for example, national anthem, all that stuff. When you just get jacked up when the game's about to start, the opening kickoff and the boom and when they score a touchdown, the fireworks.
Yeah.
That I like emotion.
Good.
Yeah.
And which is awesome, because we did buy the biggest Canadian flag in sports, which we are super proud of. And we're trying to use that as much as we can this year.
The nicest flag
It's huge
in the world.
It is bigger.
Nice.
Like the Blue Jays had one that was the biggest, and then we said to the company, we want one bigger, and they're like, we made it bigger. Not a lot bigger, but it's bigger. So we know that. We're proud of it, and we're excited about it too. So
cool.
But when you're talking about emotion, that's huge, because my job is to capture that emotion. So when you come to a Rider game, in the games, there's 18 timeouts. That's TV timeouts. You're talking a minute 50. You have 16 minute 50 timeouts, and you have 2 minutes and 20 second timeouts. Those are quarter breaks, the 220s, and you have to program your content in that time. To give you an idea of a Toronto Raptors game, you have 8 timeouts. That's it. To actually program, script, come up with great partner activations. So we have 18. We have a lot of content to fill, but we need to be strategic on where we're filling it. So the first half, we focus on a lot of games. So we're talking about shuffles. We did a Connexus game this year of Get the Green. We would do a lot more of like the things where we're giving fans specific items. We want to get those types of things out of the way, because that's the business, and it's still fun. But in the second half, people care more about the game, especially when we have a competitive team. So that's when we focus on more of the interactive pieces, the high energy stuff, and that's where the party really elevates, especially in the second half.
Cool. So it's all subliminal, though.
It is.
Now that we know, I'll look out for that.
And all the music. Like the music when it's being played, and so anyways, we opened up the fourth quarter last year where we said, okay, we have to do like some 50-50 stuff, whatever, but we left it open. And then you see on these long drives, for example, if you were at the Labor Day game with Brett Lauther before, when they were driving down, or the Montreal game, we're literally doing things on the fly. We're playing specific music at specific times, like a Rocky track when our team is coming back on the field and we need the game-winning drive, and you want to give everybody the drama and get them into it, and then feel like, oh, this is our moment. And that's what we want to do, evoke emotion.
That's amazing.
And that's the fourth quarter, and then it's from music, and then I think the Montreal game, we played a clip from We Are Marshall. It's Matthew McConaughey's speech where he's like, "You have the heart end. With your heart, I guarantee we will not lose this game. Immediately after that play, Cody Fajardo threw a touchdown, and it won us the game. So if a fan tweeted that, I'm like, wow, that actually worked. So these are all things on the fly. We try to keep open. I probably should wrap this portion up, but it's just something where I believe it's about.
We have
hello, light.
Oh, here comes Scott.
I'm going to cut this all out. You can just keep going.
Cool.
Perfect.
Cool. Okay. Do you need to reset? Okay, we're good.
And so, we're really, like, I'm super stoked about what the future is to hold and the things we're doing.
Right.
And I love it, man. It's been a lot of fun.
So
Year one's been fun.
Yeah, and again, this is why I really wanted to talk to you, because you came from Toronto, from the Raptors organization. You worked with the Blue Jays, Toronto Rock, Toronto Argonauts, all sorts of things. And you are bringing big city, big time sports entertainment ideas to Regina, to Saskatchewan, to the CFL.
Yep.
And again, that's kind of what we do at SPEX by Ryan.
Specs by Ryan. Oh yeah.
And we try to bring those big city world class options for eyewear for people here too. Yeah. So again, a little bit there's a bit of a similarity there in some ways, where what I'm going to be showing people sometimes can cause them a little discomfort because they're not used to seeing that. You're bringing some ideas that are, can cause some discomfort as well.
Yep.
And it's just where we live. We're typically a little more conservative, especially in Regina. Saskatchewan, I think, is going to be a little more open to some new ideas, but still Saskatchewan's a little more conservative and resistant to some change. But generally, whenever it happens and it occurs, people get used to it, and then they like it, and then it's just how it is, right?
Yep.
So, now, what was it like? Okay, so let's go back to when you were, going to work in Toronto, got the Raptors.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit what it was like working for the Raptors.
It was amazing. I started when I was in grade 12. I was on the hype team, and then I continued on the hype team through university. I played football at Waterloo, which was about an hour and 30 minutes away, geographically speaking, west. And I would go back, and the Raptors continued to have me, and it was fantastic. But what came out of that was I stuck with it. And then 1 year in 2013-14 season, I was the Rock mascot at the time. I was working for the Toronto Raptors as well. And then the Raptor tore his Achilles. And I ended up being the Toronto Raptor.
The Raptor mascot tore his Achilles. So
they created a cousin, and I was the cousin Stripes, and it was like we were the front page of the paper. It was like people were tweeting about the character, and I was performing, and I'm like, oh my god, it was an incredible experience. I learned so much, and I talk about that just as an example of what I learned from that experience was when you have something different, it's never gonna be the same. So there's always that like negative honeymoon phase. It's not a good newlywed phase. It's a bad one. And so it takes time where then you start winning people over as you showcase what you could bring to whether it's a character or the job you're doing. So long story short is I got a role with the Raptors. I worked on the Pan Am Games in between that as a coordinator on the brand team. And believe it or not, I oversaw the Mascot program as a coordinator there. It was a lot of fun. We did some fun stuff with Patchy the Porcupine. He had a bunch of different quills.
Legendary Patchy the Porcupine.
Patchy the Porcupine. It was a great experience, and then it turned into I did a bunch of stuff with producers from LA on the opening and closing ceremonies. And then the Raptors had a job opening as a coordinator, and I got the job, and I was there for 4.5 years in a full-time position. It was 11 seasons total.
Wow.
Honestly, going to work for the Raptors was an amazing experience. Hometown boy. We really looked at things differently. It was about being cool, hip-hop. It was the start of 2013-14 was the start of the We the North movement.
I remember that.
And I got to be a part of seeing the first Jurassic Park happen.
Right.
And the natural nostalgia about the team truly reinvigorating. I saw years when I was in grade 12, 2008, 2009, people weren't coming to Raptors games.
Well, they were always the Leafs are always the big ticket, and the Raptors were just always that whatever.
Yep.
And I'd like to think that things have changed quite a bit. I mean, people still love their Leafs, but the
It's just
Raptors are a
so,
strong
like
draw.
basketball's so diverse.
Right.
Like you have such a wide base of people coming to games.
Right.
And it's fun. And so what we would do is we would look at pop culture when we were planning certain things or pitching items to my leadership at the time and saying, here's what's going on. You know, right now you have TikTok going crazy and the trends with these like, you know, preteens and adults and even teenagers utilizing it. And you look at those trends and you say, how can we be relatable?
Right.
And the one thing I think the Raptors and one thing I was happy to be a part of was being relatable from unique cams to great videos to, you know, pitching great ideas when we had Drake evolve with OVO and working to help our partners look really great. So we had a lot of it was constant change. Every year was something new. And we got challenged each year for that. So that was like my experience at the Raptors. It was incredible. It was constant work. It was hard work. It was a grind.
Yeah.
But when you're young in the industry like me, you have to do it and you have to think outside the box.
Interesting. Very cool.
Hopefully that answered your question.
No, yeah, you did.
I
Absolutely.
talk a lot. I
No,
apologize.
yeah, that's what we're here for. And and I just love the fact you're gonna have so much to tell us, and so far it's been amazing. So back to they contact you, and the riders contact you, and next thing you know, you've got a job waiting for you in Regina. What was that going? What was going on in your mind? You know, again, you're center of the universe. You know, nothing else matters, and all of a sudden, you're going to Regina.
Regina, you're going to Regina, Russell. That's what my mom said. Russell, why are you going to Regina? Why are you traveling so far away? Oi, my gishkas.
I'm going to make money, Ma.
Ma, the meatloaf. Sorry.
So obviously a great opportunity that obviously they made it well worth your while to say, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to leave a really cool organization that's on the up and up. And then you're going to go to Regina and now, the show is yours.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quite young. Well, if people look at age, I'm young. I've done a lot of things and I'm proud of it. Which helped me get to like where I am, I think now. It happened so fast. We were talking about it earlier. It was literally we were in Montreal for a Canada Series game. So it's a Raptors preseason game. We were playing like Washington or somebody. And we had the game and the Roughriders reached out, so they want to have a chat. We had an informal chat and it turned into something more. And then that was a Tuesday. The Sunday I'm in Regina for interviews, Monday. And then I'm back and we're planning our home opener for the Wednesday. And then within 10 days, I had a job offer.
Right.
And it was so fast. And I think you get to the point where, out there I felt like I had accomplished what I wanted to do. And I continued on being positive and doing as much as I can and learning. But I felt like this was an opportunity where I could learn. I can learn how to be a better leader. Well, continue to develop my leadership skills and also put my, twist. I know football. I played football. I know game presentation from both a football, lacrosse, baseball, and a lot of basketball perspective. So it was kind of like the writing was on the wall. I get to be a part of it, a unique brand with a fantastic, passionate fan base. People are coming to games. So it's like, what can we do to energize fans when they're at games? And the opportunities were really like endless. Yeah.
Oh, man. Good for you. Like I've definitely noticed a big change this past year.
Appreciate it.
And all that stuff. And
it's a true team
cool.
effort. Like I don't have a lot. I have 2 young folks who are working with me and then the team, everybody do owning their stuff. And just to talk about what it was like to come to Regina, I landed in Regina. And the first thing I thought when the plane was descending, it was a foggy day. It was I think it was in October. It was cold. I didn't bring I didn't bring a winter jacket. It was I think it was 15 degrees in Toronto. I'm like, I'll just bring a couple hoodies and whatever, and maybe a light jacket. And I kind of landed. It was minus 15, I think it was. Yeah. And I'm just looking around. I'm like, where is everything? Where are the houses? What is this? It's so I was like, oh my God, it really is flat. I thought people were just boosting or being like, oh, it's flat. No, there was nothing. And then you land and all you see in the distance when I'm landing, it was it was meant to be. It was just the shining light on Mosaic Stadium. Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that was my first. Well, I could tell you my first introduction to Regina from the Raptors office perspective when they found out I had the job.
Ooh, okay.
So I had let them know, I'd taken this position and it was a director role, and everybody was very proud of me, and which was awesome. And then one of the Toronto Maple Leafs former game presentation director, who was now alumni relations and major events for the MLSE, he had pulled me aside and pulled a bunch of people aside, and everybody was laughing, and he's like, "Russ, get in here!" And he put on he put on a projector like, or on a monitor, whatever it was. He put Experience Regina a video, and I had never seen it. I had no idea.
Experience Regina.
And he played it, and everybody just was like hollering, laughing, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, this can't be legit. This has to be a joke.
Yeah.
And it was a legit video, which was a lot of fun, and we love playing. I love that track. I actually love it, and I love sharing it when I go around to other professionals in my industry. I'm like, listen to this song. Also, listen to The Last Saskatchewan Pirate. We are nowhere near water.
Yes.
Other than Wascana, but that's man-made. But like, we're nowhere near water. I don't get it, but I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Right, Scott? Scott likes it.
Producer Scott.
Yeah, Producer Tim. He's chained in.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's awesome. We've got some cool things going on here that's very tongue-in-cheek in a lot of ways. And yeah, man, we have fun.
The people here are fantastic. Like, everybody's so friendly. It's like a completely different side of Canada. You go to Toronto, like, I've been home a bit. It's so different.
Right.
Oh my God. Like, every time I go home, it's different. But you realize how, I don't know, like, I met somebody from Toronto and they're like, you live in Regina? Like, ew. I'm like, how about you fuck off? Like, Regina is a gem. It's a hidden gem. And yeah, it takes time to get used to. I'm young. It's hard to meet some people, but I've met some great people now. And it's a transition. But like, Toronto is not the center of the universe. No. Toronto is it's the biggest city in Canada. There's lots of people there, but it is not the center of the universe. It is not true. Like, it doesn't really resemble the true Canada when you look at across the country. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah.
I regret saying that. I still love Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto's great. I love Toronto too. Like, I think it's all Canada. It's all good, but it's just a cool thing to discuss. The culture shock, perhaps that I would wonder what you would notice. It's different. It's kind of different for us in Saskatchewan, maybe to travel to places like Toronto or New York, or whatever, because we see that stuff on TV all the time. Right. Some of it's a surprise, but most of it's that's about what I kind of thought it would be. Yeah. It's very busy, all that kind of stuff. But coming this way, I mean, I guess we're a hardy bunch. We put up with this kind of weather every year.
Oh my God.
But we also appreciate our summers so much more. All that kind of
summers
stuff we talk about.
Summers are fantastic here. But I can tell you one thing. I used to live. Here was my transition. I lived at Maple Leaf Square, so it's right beside Air Canada Centre, now Scotiabank Arena. Right. And I was a 2-minute walk from work. I owned a bicycle. I biked everywhere. And believe it or not, bike lanes in a city are fantastic. People who get knocked on their face because they're being stupid and weaving between traffic are dumb bikers, in my opinion.
There you have it, folks.
Yep, that's words from Toronto.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bike like a normal person, not a dick face. And so I came here, and you literally go from being like, I had my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday spot if I wanted to go. Like, I had my things. Here I come, I'm like, I'm not going to Hookah Lounge. The Cathedral's fun, but I've been there 18 times. And you try to find those next spots. So it's just different. Yeah. It's just different.
Yeah, a little quieter, I suppose. Yeah. So you work for the Raptors, the Blue Jays, and the Rock. Give us some insider kind of stories behind the scenes. What happened with those? Because obviously the Raptors are the big story still. When people know the names, they know who's going on. I remember even you telling me about, we're watching the game, like one of the playoff games last year up here in the SPEX by Ryan Chill Lounge.
Yes.
And then we're noticing some of the just the patrons along the sidelines, and that's Bob. He's got the craziest shoes, and it was
Yeah, the like when you're just at every single game and you're just, you're that guy in the headset wearing a suit. I like talking to people so you can get some of your fans. But I guess yeah, like Raptors. I came from the Raptors. I think we were like 6 or 7 home games into the season, and so before the season starts, we have a crazy marketing day, and that was the day that Kawhi did his ha ha ha, right? And so we get him after in one of our stations, and he comes down to our station. And listen, if you watched Kawhi on TV, I did my research. Part of my job with my manager at the time and our team was to engage our players, make sure our players were comfortable, and give them things that they're going to engage with so we can make them look great, showcase their personalities, and have fun with them. And I called my friends in San Antonio who worked for the Spurs, and I'm like, or who know, well, they're the Clippers at the time, which is ironic. We'll talk about that in a second. That was fun. But we chatted. I'm like, well, what's Kawhi like? What do you recommend? And it's like, oh man, like it's gonna be tough. He's got no personality, and I think he's just very private. I'm sure he has a personality.
Shy, perhaps.
But we get him in the room, and I'm like, hey, I had to be the guy. I'm like, hey, Kawhi, we want you to do dad jokes. Have fun with it. Read the joke over once and give us your best delivery and have fun with it. Like we're here for fun. We're the fun people. And he's just like, okay. And I'm like, okay. So he put up the joke, and it's like the first joke was, and I think this went viral because it was like, all right, here we go. And he goes, it was like, what did the sea say to the shore? And then he goes, and this is what he did. He's like, what did the sea say to the shore? Nothing. It just waved. And we're sitting there, we're like,
and just the awkwardness. Just
we laughed because it was so bad. It was good.
Just the awkwardness. Yeah.
But
that's gold.
He giggled. We made him giggle.
Nice.
And so he as it's funny, like, and then like after that, like we were in this room with a controlled access door, and then Fred VanVleet got locked in, and I'm sitting beside Fred, and he's just like, man, what the hell? And it's just like there's just these weird moments, but like there's like Fred VanVleet's an amazing guy. Like we did some stuff with him, and then I see him in the grocery store the next day, and he comes up to me and says, hey, what's going on? So like the Raptors guys, that team, I think they gel so well because they're all like actually genuine guys. Kyle Lowry is a character.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like I know I didn't know. I like realistically speaking here, I talked to the guys maybe 4 times a season. Mm-hmm. We don't, there is a distance, and I understand that because you got to understand they're professional athletes. A lot of people want to ask them the same questions. Yeah. But Kyle is just one of those guys who's really funny and a great leader. And I went to Sick Kids Hospital with them and walked around with Kyle and DeMar one year, or saw them do their thing. And it was just really great guys. Yeah. But like a great Kyle story I have is my team, I would oversee the interactive team and a lot of other things at the Raptors, and we would do our pregame huddles, and we get really into it. We do some like improv games and stuff, and pretty much we did a breakdown. And then during the breakdown, one of my team members was really excited and like yelled something. And we're attached to the laundry room. So this is where when DeMar was with the team, and this was last year's.
Just underneath in the Scotia Center.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And this was where like we're attached to the laundry room, which is beside the Raptors locker room. So it's like the Raptors locker room space, laundry room, and then we had this side room where our team was doing stuff. And somebody got really excited, and then one of the support staff like runs in the room and just grabs me by my suit jacket and says, "Come with me right now." And I'm like, "Oh boy, this is bad." And then we go to the laundry room, and I'm like, "Oh, it's definitely gonna be Kyle Lowry." I know DeMar wasn't there last year, but he's sitting there, and he just looks at me and says, "What the heck, man?" And I'm like, "Hey, Kyle." I mean, I'm always like really chill with these guys. Like I'm just gonna talk to them like people. I'm not here to like freak out or be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like they'll get a kick out of that. So I was like, "Hey, man, like one guy got excited. I know it's not cool. This is your chill time." Yeah. And he just looked at me. He was trying to give me the gears, and he stopped, and he's like, "All right, man, I got you." And then he said, "He's like, just what? Can you please make sure it doesn't happen again? Like I'm just trying to chill." And I'm like, "Yeah, like I'm sorry. I know this is your thing." He's like, "I appreciate you, man." And that was it. He's just one of those guys who like really wants to get in the zone. So I don't know. That's a couple stories from Raptors. I know there's a lot more. Like for example, we did like a Twizzler pass. We had like, just to be clear, like I had nothing to do with the planning of that. other than the fact we were told we had to do a Twizzler pass. It was like a Twizzler game. It was like we did a life-size Twizzler, and it was full of pool noodles, but it was too heavy. It's a partner activation.
Yeah.
It was too heavy, so we had to go buy beach balls
Okay.
to make it work. Problem is, when you have something long and cylinder, when you start it up at a certain angle, it's going to naturally roll down.
Yes.
So my colleague and I, hers is on the one side of the building, mine's on the other side of the building, and we pass the Twizzler, and the Twizzler starts rolling down. And at Scotiabank Arena, Air Canada Center at the time, whatever, it's Scotiabank Arena. There's these two like gaps in between, like walkways.
Yes.
Between both sides, and the Twizzler just rolls down and it's caught in the gap, and I have to like make this activation work, and so does she. But we both had the same thing happen. So her pants rip. Her pants rip in the middle of activation, and then I see the Twizzler almost clock the CEO of MLSE, Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment, in the face. And he's just looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, this is where it ends. This is where it ends. Yep. But that's a funny one. And then the Blue Jay story with A-Rod. Oh, my God.
Okay, so what was your position with the Blue Jays, really? What did you do?
So that year was I was a mascot handler for Junior, who is the junior mascot.
Okay.
And where we like would chill because it was hot. Mm-hmm. I think it was like a Saturday in July or something after Canada Day.
Sun just beats down. There's no air movement in that stadium.
No, and we're just back there, and he, he's been running around, and it's not a kid in the suit, but is a junior suit. I'll just say that. And pretty much A-Rod was with the Yankees at the time, and our performer's really hot, and his head's off, and I got a water bottle for him, and we're just chilling there, and A-Rod just walks out of the dugout because they have the dugout and then they have the change room, which is behind the dugout. And so A-Rod's walking out, doesn't see him. On the way back, he sees him. He just starts laughing.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey there, little guy. It's not a kid.
Man.
It's not a kid. And
listen, a small person.
No. And he's like, hey there, little guy. Ooh, you're a little hot. And he just starts giggling. And I'm like, why is he being a dick?
Gee,
and then he's like, do you want an ice cream? Do you need an ice cream? And then he like taps him on the head and walks by.
Oh God!
And he thought it was the funniest thing.
What an asshole!
Story. But like I've heard he's not an asshole. So
is it just doesn't know how?
I don't know. It was really, really uncomfortable.
Wow.
It was uncomfortable. But like I don't know. There's so many weird stories, man. That I don't know what to tell you. Like when I was the mascot for the Raptors, like Lawrence Fishburne, Morpheus, standing beside me, and he's just like talking to me. He's like, how long you been doing this? I hear you're the new guy. And I just wanted to be like, do you have the red pill or the blue pill? The whole time I just wanted to like get a big red pill or blue pill and just go up to him and be like, which one should I take?
Exactly.
Which one would you take, Morpheus? Morgan Fishburne. Like there was some fun stuff like that. Like I climbed on Hodor's like lap when he was there. Did you watch
lap?
Game of Thrones?
Oh, I haven't.
I'm not a big Game of Thrones fan, but anybody watch Game of Thrones? Hodor was at a Toronto Raptors game, and I was the mascot, and I dressed up like with like a little shield and a sword. It's online. We'll share that. And Hodor is right in front of me, and I just jump on him, and he started carrying me. It was really fun.
Jeez.
Because that's his job in the show, if you watch it.
And then you were also the Toronto Rock mascot, which
is...
a
generic white douchebag is what I... No, I'm kidding. It's what he looked like, but no, he's a great guy. His name was Iggy, and Iggy is a mascot for the Rock. Mm-hmm. He's chiseled with a dimpled chin.
Yeah.
And
no
abs.
neck. Yeah.
No neck. Zero neck.
Just very chiseled.
Neck. How you doing over there, Scott? Oh, he's giving me the finger. That's not nice. Oh. Iggy T. Rock would flash his abs at you right now. So the funniest part is the way they did a naming contest, and somebody wrote in like for the name, and Iggy came from an igneous rock.
Okay.
So they decided to name it Igneous Rock. I love the name.
Some rock nerd named him.
I would do dances with the cheerleaders. I would climb in front of people and then like do a hip. I had so much fun with that job. I got away with. I would grab people's popcorn and throw it in the air and shake my ass as it flew down. Like we had so much fun, man.
Yeah, you were grabbed as well, I heard.
Yeah, that's the fun part. The things that people say to you when you're a stuffed animal. or not animal, human being. I'm like climbing over people. Well, not even over people. I'm just climbing or just, doing my little thing, like, and then you have girls slapping your butt, grabbing your butt, and you have like old people grabbing your ding dong. Like they're just going, they're just like, and then
just checking if it's there.
People also say the most ridiculous things to you when you're a mascot. They're like, oh, I would do things to you. I would do things to you. I'm like,
Okay, now that brings me back to the old CSI Yiffin and Scritchin in the fur pile. Does that not remind you of that?
Oh my God, furries.
People have their preferences. That's cool. Then, yeah.
If you were a furry, what would you be and why?
Oh, God.
So interview question number 1.
Good question. Yeah. Well, immediately what comes to mind would be like, that Philadelphia Flyers mascot.
Gritty.
Yeah, Gritty.
Oh,
Gritty.
That's a good segue.
Yeah,
I know where
absolutely.
You're going.
Yeah.
I know where you're going. The elephant in the room.
Yeah, elephant in the room.
I'm not saying it until you say it. But man, you be Gritty. Man. Have you seen, okay, there's a great clip. If you haven't seen it, go home, put on Gritty streaking at an outdoor NHL game.
Nice.
And he had like arranged, there was like security guards running after him. It was so funny. The stuff you can get away with in Philadelphia with the Philly Fanatic and Gritty,
yeah.
Two of the by far some of the most iconic mascots in sports right now.
Absolutely. And so Philadelphia came out with Gritty and just got just got slammed.
They got pounded. Like we're talking, people wrote in crazy stuff. Like,
how would we describe him, first of all, for those who might not know or whatever? He looks like a Muppet character,
orange fur ball with major googly eyes and a weird smile, and he wears a hockey helmet cap, which
just kind of sits right on top,
right
up here, and his eyes are always googly around.
He looks definitely like a crazed animal,
right?
And people hated it. People absolutely hated it in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
But
Drat, it's the fuzz.
Oh,
that was.
I gotta go, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sirens outside.
They've heard me talking bad about Toronto.
The SPEX by Ryan,
Toronto
Chill
Mafia.
Lounge Studios here.
The Toronto Mandem are after me. No, I'm kidding.
Downtown Regina, folks. It's a big city.
Regina.
Regina, home of SPEX.
Sorry.
So he's definitely he's not your typical fun loving kind of character. He's a little scary.
He's scary, but he owns it.
Mm-hmm.
The things he does, like slamming cakes in people's faces. He's an aggressive character who is playful and fun, but he has that edgy side,
right?
Which is very Philadelphia,
right?
Very Philadelphia,
mm-hmm.
And then for them, it was they just owned it. They owned it, and they went.
They
with
rode
it.
the storm. They rode through the storm, and now he's beloved,
and seen as one of the best mascots.
Beloved.
In in sports, one of the best. Honestly, just to be clear, my favorite mascot performer and guy is the Toronto Raptor mascot.
Right.
It's been this. I'm not gonna say anything more than that, other than the guy who performs in the suit is amazing. I got to work with him for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
He was mentor to me, and he is by far the number one mascot in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
But there will be no other mascot that is number one other than maybe Gaynor now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of a hiccup this year with Gaynor, but. You know what though? I think everything turned out so magnificent.
That's awesome.
And you know how again you try something and sometimes things don't stick as well or they're really not working. But the way you guys adjusted and really turned it around, like the video of him losing his dropping his contacts and you guys owned it. Like honestly, I saw all this happen. And I was like, this is so brilliant. And it's almost to the point where did they plan this? Did they plan this?
Was it planned or wasn't it planned? Coming up after this commercial break.
Grab your popcorn. Anyway,
I feel like we should find like an 80s video to play between that right now. Just hey, fans, it's time for fries and fun.
Exactly. I'm Crazy Al. I've always wanted to do a local TV commercial, and we will do that one day.
I'm ready.
So anyway, kudos on that. That was great, and I love Gaynor. I love the new Gaynor, and I think again, this province we need to change a little bit. There's a lot of people that just did not like it. You made a little tweak and adjustment, and I think it's absolutely gold. So well done.
We trended number one on Canada Day, #Gaynor. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that we that Gainer brings to the club.
Oh, there we go. Thank you,
thank
Scott.
you, Scott. Scott, thank
Scott's
you.
bringing us
Thank
more
you.
refreshments.
I think we did. I think collectively we were able to really like elevate him.
Right.
As the season went on, we had that great video with green contacts. I think it's a clear, this is a community-owned team.
Yep.
And we care about the community.
Absolutely.
We did, there was I don't want to talk too closely here about anything else, but I was in charge of creating the new design.
Sure.
We had a illustrator, because we had some challenges with the suit that was currently there. It was in need of replacement.
Right.
And we pretty much just, we reached out to an illustrator who does SpongeBob SquarePants, like cartoons. We made sure. Oh, and there goes the light.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop there.
No. Keep going.
Oh. There we go. Okay. All right. And back. Okay. So we were working with a illustrator who does SpongeBob SquarePants, and he's like very well known, Nickelodeon characters, you name it.
Right.
And we wanted a reflection of what the. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Scott, you are a man of kind graciousness in your walking, and I give up. I got nothing more than that. I was trying to be
Sean
clever.
Connery, please.
Damn you, Trebek.
Le tits now, Trebek. That's Let It Snow.
Yeah. No, Sean Connery. It is not Le Tits now. Will Ferrell.
Japan anus relations.
Funny because it's a big hat.
Yeah, oh. I missed it.
Let's do another cheers. We got a fresh drink
All
here.
right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Scott.
Cheers, Scott.
Anyways, we worked with that was that's good.
Mhm.
You made that nice, Scott.
Yes.
Thank you, Scott.
Tight.
Call me Scott. don't rub your nipple in front of me. No, but we were really proud of it. We worked with a great illustrator. We thought about a lot of different things. We of course pretty much we're proud of Gainer. Gainer is a huge asset to the club. He does a lot in the community. We want to continue to grow his celebrity. We want to continue to utilize Gainer as a great brand ambassador of the club, and we're excited for the future for Gainer as we continue to elevate the character and provide him more opportunities on game days to do more.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Corporate.
No, I think overall, like,
Yeah, absolutely.
he's such an important part to us, and we really want to keep making Gainer look great and represent the people of Saskatchewan. He's one of the most well-known mascots in the country.
Right. And yeah, I mean, again, challenging people a little bit. Now, I think towards the end of the season, people just forgot that we have a new Gainer, and that's no Gainer, right?
I wouldn't even say it's new Gainer. I just say it's. I think a bit interesting thing for me is like
freshened up.
I've done mascots. One of my first jobs was the Pan Am Games, and I oversaw the mascot program for Apache. We were activating, we activated a lot of, Apaches around Pan Am Games.
Right.
It was a 16-day event. We focused on each venue and how that character can really bring the games to life and act as that like brand ambassador for the games. And we strategically looked at that. When I was brought into the Invictus Games, I worked with a chief marketing officer at the time, and we created the first ever, and this is Prince Harry's Games.
Right.
We created the first ever mascot for the Invictus Games, who was Vimy. It was Vimy Ridge's 100th anniversary, and we created Vimy. He was a service dog. It was amazing. When you start from scratch, it's different when you're taking something that has been so prolific.
Yes.
And we wanted to do it
And
justice.
entrenched in history and
Yeah.
tradition.
But I think what we received, the feedback we received by the end of the season was he was more approachable to children, and
yes.
and I think, in not saying anything bad about the old Gainer, I just think it's just a different take on Gainer, but it's the same Gainer.
Yep.
Same Gainer. It's the same characteristics.
Healthier.
He's still got a bum.
Yeah.
He's still got a bum. The paunch is gone, and he put work in the off season.
Absolutely.
He was in the gym.
Times have changed. Did he turn vegan?
No.
No,
No, he's not a vegan gopher.
really? Is there gophers are carnivores?
I don't even know. I'm
I
making
don't
it
even
up.
know. Yeah, me too.
Gophers are carnivores?
Technically, gophers are.
Scott says they are cannibals, so they.
You know what
will
I
eat their
felt? I
young.
felt like that was Jumanji, where you're the
Yes.
zoologist. You're Kevin Hart, Scott.
Yes. Let's hear it.
Known for their
Kevin Hart in the last Jumanji. But yeah, like that was obviously very interesting for me. But we love Gainer. Gainer is Gainer.
So, okay, we'll wrap up here pretty quick, but it's a big year for you guys. Grey Cup's coming. That's got to be exciting. Is there any kind of big things that you're excited about that you can maybe fill us in on, or is it all top secret, or is there, any again big city event? You've been traveling too.
Right.
You've traveled a lot over the years to big events, major sporting events,
Right.
and learning what happens at those things.
Right.
Is there anything that we can maybe expect here at the Grey Cup? Because I know it's going to be like absolutely world class in all ways.
So one thing we're known for at Grey Cups are Ridervilles,
Yep.
a team party, which we are going to put on the best. Well, that's one of the things we're doing, but there's many things. The Grey Cup 2020 team is working super hard. I'm lucky enough to be on the operation committee for the Grey Cup, as I'll be working with the CFL to produce the game in our amazing stadium.
Yep.
We're super excited about what's to come for the Grey Cup year. I think what's more exciting is our schedule this season and what's upcoming. It's Father's Day weekend for our home opener. Was a better way to open on Father's Day weekend and have the whole family out. So I think there's a lot of things to come. We're working right now through what we're going to do specifically.
Yep.
We feel as if there's going to be a lot of unique opportunities. We're really excited about the season.
I had to clap.
We have we're really excited about the season. We got Riderville upcoming at Grey Cup. It's gonna be bigger and better than ever. And there's so many great things the 2020 Grey Cup committee have on the go right now. I'm on the operational committee, and it's from producing the game into the events we have upcoming this season,
Right.
into what our schedule looks like. Home openers on Father's Day. We are fine-tuning our game presentation to highlight more of our players, more stats for those focus fans. We want to create. We're working right now on what our theme days are, so that we focus on our fans and who comes to Rider games and who wants to come to Rider games and provide the best possible experience. So it's really exciting. When you look at things we want to continue to develop, I was just in the Houston Texans. They won the best in class in all of football last year for game presentation.
Oh, cool.
So in my world, you connect with these people because
Right.
very niche market. You go, you check out what they're doing. It's best practice trips, and you
Yes.
see what they're doing. So I was in Houston just for a couple days. I saw a Texans game and a Rockets game, and I was able to see what they do. They focus a
Yes.
lot on their video board. We have the biggest video board in the country for their games, from stats to, and they have 2 gigantic video boards. Now, this is a gigantic stadium. They have budgets that are, bigger than ours, obviously.
True.
But we have the opportunity. We have great people like the Andrew Caters of the world. If you know who Andrew Cater is, he's fantastic. Like, just the teams we have in place that we can do next level things, and we are working on that now. Some of the things we've learned to what works for Texans fans, what works for the fan in Houston versus the fan that is at a basketball game in Houston versus a fan that's at a football game in Houston.
Right.
So it's been very interesting to learn that. And I think, for myself, working on NBA All-Stars, which are 6. It's a long event. You have 6 events in the span of 3 days. You learn a lot of what are fans perceiving, what are they taking in, what are they enjoying, and so
Right.
what I'm trying to do is just take what best practices we've done in the past little bit and kind of elevate those, and then continue to say, okay, what are we doing that we've done for a long time that works? And how can we elevate it? Or what are we doing for a long time that's time to not change, but reimagine in a way.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. We have a lot of fun to come. We're continuing, if you like to jam with the Riders, we're going to do more things like that. And it's not just going to be jam with the Riders. We know that our players are actually into it now. They get into it. And funny enough, the first time we did this, we did a quick marketing day where the players came in for a shoot day. And a bunch of the guys were like, yo, you work for the Raptors, right? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Wow.
yeah. No, there's like, what was Kawhi like? That was the question I got from one of the guys. And I started laughing. And I'm like, yeah, he was exactly what you expected him to be. He's like, what's that? And I'm like the way he's on TV.
Yeah.
Which is funny because, like, DeMar DeRozan, awesome. Kyle Lowry, awesome. All the guys, awesome. Like, nobody asked about those guys. They asked about Kawhi. So very, very interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, you've lived a pretty good life in your 28 years. Like, that's...
I am still hungry. I'm hungry to make Rough Rider games like the best possible. I want people to come watch us and say, what are we doing right?
Right.
And I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but like, we got some great feedback from TSN about how our stadium is the most presentable, from the fans having a great time. We have Pill Country. We have more work to do there. How do we make that space even more lively for the young folks, or even the folks who just go there to party, but also keep it classy, right? Like, we have a lot of great fans. We have lots of different types of fans who comes to games. If you're like my mom, you come for the cheerleaders. You want to see them dancing and having great time.
Doing their flips.
You want to look at the mascot shake his tushy. And then you have the focused fan who strictly focuses on the X's and O's. And we want to make sure that we are giving those fans more replays, more stats, telling more of a story that way. The A show and the B show need to be together. The A show, when we're talking in game presentation terms, is the kiss cams. When you and your significant other is on the kiss cam and you hold up a thing and it says, "It's my sister." No, it's a joke. Right? But like, we want to elevate it where we have a kiss cam, and let's say you give a very like non-vanilla kiss to your wife. We want to grade you. We want to be like, that's an A+.
Ooh.
But then we get
That's
Scott.
a fan meter, maybe?
Yeah, we get Scott and his wife, and he gives her a little peck, and we're like C-. We want to have we want people to really engage with cams. We want to change cams to make them more that are more like fun and light. But then the B show is, when the game is physically on and we're not in a specific break or timeout,
right,
you want to say, okay, what's our second down efficiency? Is Cody Fajardo throwing 7 completions, and what's his stats? We want to have more packs, which a pack is a highlight of a player in particular throughout the game, and we want to come out with stats. So we're telling that story more. We have a great system, and we're excited about it. Yeah.
Well, we're very lucky to have you here in Saskatchewan. I could definitely tell right away the changes that were made, and that because I just love, again, big city things that we can bring to Regina, and because we deserve good things here too.
Absolutely.
And when you're doing that kind of stuff and elevating us to the level of NBA, of NFL, of any major sport, why not? We got a world-class stadium. We got world-class people.
Absolutely.
And let's do it.
And people shouldn't forget that either.
Yep.
Like, when we do what we're doing for football is very different. Like, this is not normal for football. We have taken football and smashed a bunch of things together. With the theme days, it's a splash of baseball. With the energy, it's a splash of lacrosse. With basketball, you have your more fan-centric features. Like, when you smash a lot together. In hockey, the moments where you can't be on the field, we're doing things in the crowd. We need to do more stuff like that. So it's a blend of the two. It's a blend of all those, and I think it's just finding the right recipe. Cool. We're trying to season that bad boy,
Well,
bam, Emerald. Sorry.
Yeah, we better wrap this up here right now.
Sure.
We went a little, we go longer because you have lots of content. I just love listening to your stories, man.
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for joining us on Shady Business.
Shady Business. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I put an extra on there for you, Scott. Hey, Scott, if you were a mascot, what would you be? If you were a color, what would you be?
I could see him as being Grimace.
Grimace? Oh, that's good. More like an Oscar the Grouch kind of guy. Yeah. What about you?
He's pretty big. Mascot. You know what I've always loved are those the old dead presidents running races.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd be Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln. Or yeah.
You know what San Diego Padres do? The Anchorman race. It is amazing.
Yeah.
Ron Burgundy, Brick Tamlin.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's so good. I gotta show you that. Should we end like in an awkward silence? Like, I don't know. I used to watch Craig Ferguson late night a lot. I love that guy.
Well, I really, thank you for coming. It was really swell.
Of course.
And
yeah. I just want to.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching.